Hello friends, welcome to Biju Guys Teaching Cafe. This is a short YouTube video lecture on the theme philosophical approach to political science. Friends, Plato's Socrates once famously said regarding politics that it is no chance matter we are discussing, but how one should live. Looking at politics, Socrates is saying that politics is all about how people should live. That is, all the major ancient Greek philosophers and Roman philosophers held the view that politics was no mere an academic discipline. It is not mere an intellectual abstraction. Politics is all about the art of living, how to live in society, how to make good living. It is a study. Politics is a study whose aim included the improvement of conduct. So philosophy properly practiced and properly integrated into the public life of a community would improve the quality of life in all the society. That is, public role was not the only role Greek philosophers saw through through philosophy. For them, philosophy was an important part of politics. So, to understand how philosophy is related to politics, let me tell you the story of Hannah Arendt, and this story will be an interesting index, a measure or a yardstick for you to understand how philosophy can give you a proper understanding about political life of a society. So Hannah Arendt, who wrote the famous and renowned book Eichmann in Jerusalem, a report on the banality of evil. This book is a benchmark to assess the philosophical approach. So Hannah Arendt was assigned by the New Yorker to report the trial of Eichmann, who commanded the murder of 3 million Jews in Nazi Germany during the Holocaust. Though the number of murders he had commanded is still disputed, but it is a reality that he was the principal actor in the Holocaust, where murders of Jewish people were just a common thing, like you are having a coffee every morning or you are having a puff of a cigarette. It was a non-issue in the Nazi Germany. And Arendt reported what happened during the Holocaust by closely watching the Eichmann trials, which was conducted in Israel. And she courageously reported another story through this book, that is Eichmann in Jerusalem. And the story she told was a sorry thing, which sparked many controversies, and what she pointed also reflected the real shade of human character, intellectualism of real humans, and true nature of humanism. Friends, these values are these days disappearing from the world we live in. You know, Jews faced brutalization, demonization in Nazi Germany. They suffered the Holocaust. And in the end, they were rewarded a nation called Israel. But Arendt reported that the same Jews who had confronted demonization in Germany, Nazi Germany, are now demonizing and brutalizing people in Palestine. How can she asked an interesting philosophical question? What is that? How can a community who had undergone torture and deprivation use their experiences as the pretext for torturing another community, another unfortunate community of people, that is Palestinian Arabs? Interesting question. For telling this other side of Jewish story, Arendt, who herself was a Jew and escaped Holocaust from Nazi Germany, risked her reputation and intellectual career because she was telling some disturbing facts about Jewish Israel. She was silenced for telling this story of Israel's Jewish people brutalizing Palestinian Arabs in Israel. So she was silenced, distanced, and criticized in the intellectual circle of the elite academic world in USA and the Europe. She had indeed questioned a common Western perception that the West is good, West is humane, West is valuing human right. So this story also reminds us the hollow intellectualism of people these days. You can be appreciated, friends, you can be appreciated only when you first point the defects of a system standing from within. So philosophy is about ethics, moral conduct. It is about the right conduct and bad conduct. It is about what is to be done and what should not be done. It is about the doable things and not doable things. It is about the right thing and about the bad thing. That's it. The ancient Greek philosophers asked moral questions. The people in the ancient Greece, like Socrates, his disciple Plato, and his disciple Aristotle, were interested in fundamental questions regarding life. See, fundamental questions means questions related to the basic aspects of social and political life. For what is politics? It's a fundamental question. What is politics in a society? Why politics in a society? Who is a good ruler? Who is a bad ruler? Who is a good citizen and who is a bad citizen? What is the best form of government? What is the best constitution? What is justice? What is equality? What is freedom? Is man basically good or bad? These are fundamental questions. I can give you so many examples, but in this lecture I will give you two important and interesting examples for understanding philosophical approach to politics. Friends, you imagine a hypothetical situation. You have a doctor and 6 patients and one hospital with all the modern facilities. 5 people in the hospital have organ failures and they can be saved only if their organs are transplanted. And there is one more patient whose organs have no problem, but he is terminally ill and he will die. But at the same time, the other 5 people are also on the brink of dying because of organ failure. So friends, in this critical situation, the society should ask some fundamental basic questions. Who will ask? The philosophers will ask this question. What is the question? Friends, what should the society do in that situation? You think Is it good for a society to kill that very serious sick man and donate all his organs for saving the life of the other five ill people? It's a moral question, right? Can society do that to save five people by killing another person? Or I can give you another example, a very interesting example. Probably you might like this. What is that? You have Cristiano Ronaldo and a housekeeper, your left and right. Do you think Cristiano Ronaldo and the housekeeper be paid the same salary for their services? Both of them use their labor. How the society decide whose labor is superior, whose labor be paid more? It's an interesting question. Ronaldo is an entertainer. He has huge fan following. He is able to entertain people. He brings happiness to people. And we can find rarely people like Ronaldo in human history. So he be paid more? Can he pay? Can we pay him more? Or on the other side, you have the housekeeper. Housekeeping is a basic service which involves cleaning, cooking, home maintenance, shopping and bill payment. That's also a job which can be performed by anyone. So housekeeper be paid less? Friends, who in society will decide who be paid more? See, it's a very interesting question. See, these are basic and fundamental philosophical questions that a society should confront. These are the type of questions philosophical approach will try to answer. That's why, this approach, philosophical approach, is regarded as the oldest approach in the studies of political science. So the emergence of this approach can be traced back to the times of ancient Greek philosophers, the Roman philosophers like Socrates, Plato and Aristotle. Socrates always asked some basic and fundamental questions to people who always used to meet in the street. He asked about good conduct and bad conduct, good people and bad people, lot of questions. That was his character. And his student Plato, in his book Republic, tried to portray an ideal state, an ideal form of government, which is called republic, in which he stated a good ruler, an ideal ruler is the philosopher king. So Aristotle, his student Aristotle, in his book Nicomachean Ethics and another book, The Politics, portrayed what is an ideal polity, an ideal conduct. He even preferred the famous middle path called the golden mean. Stoics, and another school of Greek philosophy, they called the philosophers as the doctor of soul. The Hellenistic Stoics, the Greeks and the Romans followed the example of Socrates. Paying great honor, they represented, that is the Hellenistic Stoics, Greek and Roman philosophers represented themselves. The conduct of philosophy is all about bringing reason to politics. And they did in fact continue in many ways the substance of the works of Socrates. The defending the supremacy of virtue, arguing against revenge, showing that good man cannot be harmed. Even the manner of the dying of ancient Greek philosophers were more Socratic. For example, both Seneca and Thrasea Paetus in different ways followed the Socratic lead and died almost similar way like Socrates died. Like Socrates, finally, the ancient Greek philosophers held and continuously proclaimed that philosophy is important for each and every person, male and female, slave and the free man. Friends, this approach, that is philosophical approach to politics, was advocated by one of the modern political theorists, Leo Strauss. Leo Strauss was a main advocate of the philosophical approach. He believed that the philosophy is the quest for wisdom. He believed political philosophy is an attempt to know the right or good political order. This approach firmly, that is political philosophical approach, firmly believed that values, morals cannot be separated from studying politics. Therefore, the main concern of philosophical approach is to judge what is good and what is bad in any political society. It's mainly an ethical and normative study of politics. Politics, in this way of understanding, studies the normative aspects of society, the ethical aspects of society. Therefore, this approach believes that politics is an ideal business. It deals with, for the philosophical approach, deals with the problems of nature and functions of state, citizenship, rights, justice, duties, etc. So many fundamental questions in the life of a political society. The advocates of this approach firmly believe that political philosophy is closely linked with political ideologies. Therefore, they are of the opinion that political scientists must have the knowledge of good life and good society. A political scientist must also be a philosopher. So in this background of philosophical approach, our politicians, our citizens, the representatives of the people should ask themselves, what are they doing to the society? Are they doing some good service to the nation? Are they doing some good things to the nation? Are their actions harming people? Are their actions bringing some benefits to the citizen? Friends, if they really answer to these questions, imagine what will be the replies. Interesting. So friends, having said all these things, I'm going to wind up this lecture. I don't know if you have come across the ideas properly and whether I was able to create some spark in your mind. I know you are confused. That is what I really expected of this lecture. Friends, if you have some doubts, please drop a line to the comment box in the YouTube lecture. Thank you.